Unfortunately, to this, several persons are absent because of vacations and sicknesses. But I think that they will be will definitely watch the recording of this video because anyway it should be very useful for us, and thank you again for appointing this meeting.
Yes, thank you. We're happy to do this, and we should have done this a long time ago. So we consider DSR and your team a very valuable part of our team, even though we don't get to interact with you every day. You all are very, very important to us. And so we should have done this a long time because we consider you part of our company. So
thank you.
So Luis, you're recording?
Yes.
Yeah, it would be great.
I am recording. Yep.
Okay, good. All right, are we ready to start?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay, great. Again, thank you for your time. I know it's towards the end of the day for you, so thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to allow us to meet you. And I know Luis spends a lot of time with Sergey and Oksana and some of others, but I don't get that opportunity. And so it's good for us to spend time together, albeit via the phone, to talk about our company. As I mentioned, we consider you as Labworks employees, and we want you to consider yourself as Labworks employees because you're a very important part of our team. In fact, Luis is our VP of engineering and our VP of product management, but DSR does all of our development. So you guys are our complete development team. And that's because we've built a relationship with DSR over many years. Prior to Labworks, both Luis and I worked for Adaptive Computing, which was where I was first introduced to DSR. And DSR did great work for us at Adaptive Computing. And then Luis and I started another small company called XTAG, which we haven't launched yet, but DSR did the development for that as well. And then now with Labworks. So this is our third experience working with DSR, but because of the trust that we have in DSR's leadership, in Anatoly and Jeannie, and then the good experiences we've had with DSR in the past, and in the present, the good experiences that we're having with all of you now, has caused us not to develop or not to hire a development team. And so DSR is our development and engineering team. Just quickly, introductions, so you kind of know who we are. I know you all kind of know Luis, but this is me. I'm the CEO and founder, Lane Franks. And then we have Luis, who's our VP of engineering.
You picked a good picture.
Very good.
Okay, there's Luis right there. And then we have Paul Felstead, who's our founder and CTO. So Paul Felstead has worked with Labworks for many, many years, 20 plus years. And I'm sorry, just got a message here. And he and I actually lived next to each other. We were neighbors. And for many years, Paul would tell me about this great product that he was building. And he would tell me about the great customers that they were servicing. And over the 11 years that we lived next to each other, every year I would talk to him multiple times about his business and what they were doing. Labworks was owned by a company called PerkinElmer, which is a large multi-billion-dollar instrument manufacturing company, and they have software too, but they're a large company, and they owned Labworks. And so Paul worked for PerkinElmer, and he worked on the Labworks product. But every year that I would talk to him, it seemed like he was less and less excited about the product and the company because the company was not investing in the product. and the customers were getting frustrated. And that got worse and worse over those 11 years to the point where they had let go of all the support people, all the sales people, all the engineers, and Paul and one or two others were left supporting hundreds of customers, and with a product that had really no investment or future. And customers were very upset, and it was very stressful for Paul and the remaining employees. So I suggested to Paul that we should maybe buy the product, from PerkinElmer. And so it took us 2 years to work with PerkinElmer and to negotiate the acquisition of Labworks. But in March of 2016, we were able to acquire Labworks, and so we've been running Labworks now for 3.5 years as its own entity, and we've had some really great success. But Labworks, the product, has been around since 1985, and it's a LIMS product. So LIMS stands for Laboratory Information Management Software, which I'm sure you all know. We purchased it from PerkinElmer in March of 2016. Labworks provides a full-featured enterprise LIMS solution for leading manufacturing and process labs, as opposed to research and development labs. So these are our product fits really well for companies that produce and make things. If it's a lab that's doing R&D, research and development, we don't typically support those types of labs. Labworks has been installed in over 400 labs, and our customers range from small 2 to 5 users, small labs, to hundreds of users in the labs. So we're able to support a lot of different size of customers. Unfortunately, 90% of our customers are all in North America, and we have a few in Asia Pacific, and we've got 1 or 2 maybe in Europe, but really almost nothing in Europe, in Latin America, nothing in Eastern Europe. And so we really have a lot of opportunity to grow the company because we have a great product and a great team. And the industries that we support, so probably about 40, almost 50% of our customers are water and wastewater. So we work with a lot of cities to manage their water supplies, and they're doing testing on their water. And then a lot of those customers also need to do environmental type testing, but we also support agriculture, chemical manufacturing, people making plastics and other things, petroleum industry, food and beverage, and consumer goods. We support other industries as well, but these are the ones that are primary industries for us. Missing from this is life sciences, health, and those kind of things, and that's another opportunity for us in the future. Just some of our customers, these are just a sample of our customers, but Huntsman Chemical is one of the largest global chemical manufacturing companies in the world. They make a lot of different plastics, a lot of different products. And we're expanding right now. I think we're in 2 or 3 labs, and we have projects in place right now to expand 30 labs globally with Huntsman Chemical. Altria is a large tobacco company, and so we help them regulate the nicotine level and other chemical levels in the tobacco or the finished product, the cigarettes, the size of the cigarettes, etc. We help measure those things and track that for them. British Petroleum is one of our big customers in the petroleum industry. I'm sure you're all aware of or familiar with British Petroleum. But the petroleum area is really interesting because there's just a lot of use cases. Of course, they have to test the oil that comes out of the ground, the crude, but then they have to, when they mix it with other chemicals, they have to test it before, they have to test it after. And so, we also have a company, for example, called Alyeska Pipeline, which is up in Alaska. And, the big oil tankers have to come in to the port there. And before they do, they have to, or when they do, they have to get rid of all their ballast water. And so they have to run that ballast water through a system, and that system has to test the water to make sure that it's sufficient, or it goes into treatment plants, and then from there it goes into the ocean. But that whole process, so they have to test the oil, they have to test the water, they have to test their ballast. They have to test a lot of different things to make sure that they're compliant. And compliance is a big word for us because a lot of our customers have to be compliant to industry or government regulations. So we help customers be compliant. City of San Diego is one of our biggest cities that we support and one of our newest. This is a project that we won last year, and we're in the process of implementing this for them right now. But they have 8 different labs where they do water, wastewater, they do stormwater, they do environmental testing. They have to go out into the ocean and they test, different things with the water, the soil, the animals in the ocean. And so we're doing a lot of work with the City of San Diego. Some of you may have visited San Diego before. It's a beautiful city. U.S. Department of Agriculture. So they have to test a lot of different businesses and labs, and they just do everything. So we support the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Honeywell, they do specialty materials, like carbon fiber, and things for airplanes, and they have to do a lot of stress testing and strength testing to make sure the products are strong and so forth. So we help them with that. Rio Tinto is one of the largest mining companies in the world, and so we support them with their environmental testing. They test water, they test soil, they test chemicals, they test the materials that come out of the earth. Shiseido is a Japanese company, but they do consumer goods, a lot of makeup and beauty products that we help them test. E.J. Gallo is one of the largest winemakers in the world. And so, it's kind of an interesting industry that we have to test. They have to test their bottles. They test the wine to make sure that there aren't pesticides. They have to test the alcohol level and lots of different other things they have to test to make sure that they're compliant with industry standards. Daisy Brand Dairy, this is a big brand in the United States. You've never heard of them probably, but I just wanted to highlight a large dairy. They produce cheese, milk, lots of different products that are quite popular, but they have a lot of different tests that they have to do to make sure that their products are safe and good. General Nutrition Centers is a health and nutrition. It's one of the largest, there's stores all over the United States called GNC, and they have lots of vitamins and powders for protein, a lot of different products, thousands of products that they produce and sell for health and exercise and other things, nutrition. So this is just a sample set of some of our top customers. Of course, we have many, many more. We're in 400 different labs, but this just gives you kind of an idea of some of our large customers and the different types of industries and how they use our products. So Labworks, so in the 3.5 years that we've been functioning, we've had 100% customer retention. And we've been growing at about 25% every year. And then most of that growth is coming from existing customers. We have no salespeople and we have no marketing people yet. And I'll explain that later. But we've been focused on engineering with you. We've been focusing on our technical field people who are out in the field supporting customers. They help customers with upgrades. They help our customers implement new features. They do training. And we've got about 7 people who are out in the field. We travel all over the United States as well as globally to support our customers. And we're growing with our existing customers because our customers now are very happy, whereas before they were very unhappy when it was with PerkinElmer. They're very happy now, and now they're expanding. As I mentioned, like Huntsman Chemical, they're going from 2 labs to 30 labs this year. And we have many other instances where we're in 1 or 2 labs and they're expanding to 4 or 5 labs. And so we've been able to experience our 25% growth by helping our existing customers grow. And our main focus is customer satisfaction. And we do a lot for support. We have a customer portal. We do a lot of training. We do a lot of webinars. We have our people out in the field who help our customers maximize the value of Labworks. We have our technical account managers, or TAMs. We have a big user conference that we do every 18 months. And we really encourage our customers that if they're ever in doubt, to contact us, because we have solutions most of the time already for them. And then number 3, our goal is to make Labworks the undisputed best LIMS in the market. And as I mentioned earlier, this bottom box that's in orange, once we have the eLIMS product ready, we will aggressively go after new customers. So we have not been, let's see, we have not been, let me just go, I'm going to jump ahead here, just a second here. So today, Labworks is not very pretty. We know some of you work on the desktop team, and Labworks doesn't have the best user experience. Some of the modules were built in Visual Basic, and some of those we're porting over to .NET now, but it's not very pretty and user-friendly. But it is, we often joke around that we wouldn't win a beauty contest, but we would probably win a CrossFit contest. Because while we're not as pretty, we do a lot of heavy lifting. Our product is very flexible. It does a lot of things, and it does that without customization. And so, while we're not very pretty, we do a lot of things very well, and we're very strong, and it's a very good product. So our goal is to have both beautiful and strong. And so with the eLIMS product that we're building, once that is ready, we will aggressively go after new customers. And today we still get some new customers every year by word of mouth from our existing customers. And they talk about how good the product is. They like it, even though it's not very pretty, not very user-friendly. But they've been trained on it. They're used to it. And so they look past some of our user experience flaws, and they use it quite well. And so we are able to win new customers like the city of San Diego I mentioned. That was a big new win for us, very competitive, because the LIMS market is very competitive. There's a lot of LIMS products out there. And so we were very pleased to win the city of San Diego, and we've won many others. But we win them almost without trying. Like I said, we don't have any salespeople. We don't have any marketing people. And so we've really just kind of focused on existing customers, making them happy, and then building the new products that will allow us to go after new customers. And so this is why, eLIMS, well, all of our products are important. The desktop, the legacy desktop is important because we have 400 plus labs that use it, and they use it every day for, all these reasons that I showed you, with these customers use it every day, all day. It's absolutely an important part of their manufacturing process. They test their products at every step along the way, and if they can identify problems early, they can make corrections and save millions of dollars in some cases. So, so desktop is important, and desktop will always be important for us. eLIMS, our web-based new version, our enterprise LIMS, is very important because that's going to be the beautiful. That's the new pretty, new technology, new architecture, and that will allow us to win new customers. Our old customers will also use it in parallel with the desktop, and they'll be able to use the desktop and eLIMS together. But our new customers, we will sell the new eLIMS product because we think it will be the best product on the market. As I mentioned, the LIMS, the laboratory information management software space, is very competitive. There's probably 20 different products out there, but I'd say there's only like maybe 5 that are real good companies like us, Labworks being one of those 5. So we're in the top 5, but there's 2 that are very large. Then there's some that are smaller like us, but very good. And then there's a lot of that are really small and really bad. But even the bigger LIMS providers, the products are average. So in some cases, they look better than Labworks, They don't perform better because Labworks does more and is better, but they look better. They've had newer technology. They had more investment, recent investment. So with the new LIMS product that we're doing, we think that we will move ahead of everybody in the industry. And at that point in time, we are going to hire salespeople and marketing people and really pursue new customers, because we'll have the confidence that we have the best product out there. And you all are making that happen with the desktop and the LIMS and the mobile solution as well. So, what does a LIMS system do? Well, we schedule samples. So we have a product called Process Scheduler that will automatically kind of create samples on a scheduled basis, daily, weekly, monthly, the first Tuesday of every month, etc. So they schedule samples. Those samples are then collected. And this could be somebody like a wastewater person could go out into the city and go to 10 different locations in a day, pick up samples from a business, from homes, a lake, a river, a pond. They collect samples. Or it could be somebody out in the oil fields collecting samples, soil or petroleum or agriculture. They're testing fertilizer. They're testing, feeds for animals. They collect those samples and they bring them into the lab. And once they get into the lab, somebody in the lab logs them into the system. All right, so they log the samples in, and then that sample is ready to be. Work can be done on that sample. And going back to the collection of samples, that's where we've implemented the new mobile sample collection application, which some of you have worked on. It's very valuable for our customers to be able to go out into the field and collect samples. As I mentioned, for example, the city of San Diego, they have to go all over the city and collect samples, but they also go out into the wilderness, to ponds and to rivers and streams. They have to go out into the ocean. And many of our customers have to go out to very remote locations. It could be an oil field. It could be agriculture out in the country. It could be out in the ocean. And so that's why the system had to work, or the sample collection app had to work offline, in offline mode. But anyway, once samples are collected, they're logged in. Also, some of our customers can send them samples, so they can receive samples. So they receive and log samples into the system. Once samples are received and logged into the system, then lots of different things happen. They can be divided, they can be diluted, they can be tested, they can be incubated, they can be frozen, but we have to track, at that point in time, we have to track the chain of custody, who touches the sample, who performs a test or a function on the sample, and then eventually people have to enter results. They upload files, they take pictures, they enter in data. There's all sorts of different types of data that they enter into the results entry. I know a lot of you have worked on the LIMS results entry for the last 6 months with calculations and the complexities of all of that. So again, thank you for that good work in the results entry, because I know that's not easy things to do. Once the tests are completed and the sample's kind of completed, it gets validated or approved with some workflow, and then there's reporting of the results. And this reporting can be done automatically. And then there can be invoicing. Some of our customers have to invoice their customers for the work that has been done. And then in addition to this is kind of a high level life cycle of a sample. But in addition to this, we perform a lot of other functions for the lab, such as inventory management, personnel management. So they want to manage the people in the lab, their testing, their training, what they're certified to do, what they can't do. We manage instruments. So there are a lot of instruments in the lab that do the tests, and then Labworks receives the results from those tests that those instruments do. And labs spend millions of dollars on instruments in their labs. And so it's important to manage those instruments via the LIMS system. There's a lot of data. So we have the dashboards that some of you worked on. We have crystal reports, which some of you have worked on as well. We provide other tools like this graphical trend viewer. We have a data viewer. We do Excel exports. There's all sorts of different things that we do inside our system to help with the data management and being able to make the data into information so managers and others can make decisions. And we'll be doing a lot more around data in the future. Quality assurance and quality control is a whole process that happens in the lab to make sure that their processes are accurate and they can verify that the processes or methods are working properly. There's a module called certificate of analysis. So a lot of times, like for example, our chemical manufacturing companies will get an order from a customer, and they'll say that I want this plastic that I want you to make. It has to be a certain strength or a certain flexibility, and so they'll create a specification, and then the end product has to meet that specification for that customer. And to do that, they have to certify with a certificate of analysis that the product meets the spec that the customer ordered. That's just one example of another function. Then there's customer management. We have some very, we don't have good customer management in the LIMS today, and that's an area that we're going to improve going forward as well. So, we try to track samples, but we also track inventory and instruments, personnel, customers, and all sorts of different things. The items with the orange boxes around them are areas that DSR has already worked on or is working on currently. So for example, actually scheduling a sample, I don't think we've done that yet. That's a mistake. But collection of samples is an area that you've worked on with the mobile collection application. The logging in of samples is something that Oksana and Sergey are working on now with Luis to build what we call a golden thread, the design of that. So they're working on that, and that's going to be the next thing that the LIMS team works on. The test samples or enter results is the results entry that you've all been working very hard on. And then, we did some early, back in when we first established our DSR Labworks relationship, we did some early work on inventory management, but we put that to the side temporarily for now. So there's some work, but that will be coming in the future. On the desktop team, they're currently working on personnel management and instrument management. And then, of course, many of you work on the dashboards. Also, and I also put a box around data viewer. And this is something that we currently have in Labworks today that's quite powerful, that allows users to query data and analyze data. And while we haven't necessarily replaced data viewer yet or built data viewer, all the great work that the LIMS team has done on the Explorer is very similar to the data viewer. And so you've built the foundation, in some cases made Explorer better than data viewer, and so we'll probably be replacing data viewer just with the Explorer product that you've all been working on for a long time. So a lot of things that are you've already worked on. I know you've also worked on some of the reporting of samples and other things, but these are the main items that your teams have worked on over the last almost 2 years. And I think we're getting it's a lot of work. As I said, Labworks does a lot of things, and so something that looks from an end user standpoint might look quite simple, but as you know, behind the scenes with the data structures and all the other kind of hidden logic, these things can be quite complex. So thank you, great work. We appreciate the quality and the commitment that it's clearly reflected in the product. So thank you for all your hard work. Labworks is known for our flexibility because we try to build in tools and permissions and things inside the tool with templates and other things that you've seen to make it easy for people to configure the system versus not customizing the system. And 95% of our customers have no customization. So for us to support 400 labs, for us to support a lot of different industries with very little customer customization really speaks to the strength of the underlying product. It's not perfect by any means, and you guys have seen some of the things that are, were built 20 years ago, and you probably wonder, why was it built that way, or couldn't we do this better? But it does a lot of really good things today. We also provide a lot of options for our customers. So we have, most of our customers use the system on-premise, but we're also allowing them now to do hosted. So we have a cloud, a partner that we work with, that we host some of our customers' environments. Unfortunately, we have to do that via Citrix and other emulators that allow the desktop to be accessed via a browser. So we're using Windows Terminal Server and mostly Citrix to do that. And so when we have the LIMS product, we'll be able to do this much more efficiently, much faster, much more elegantly, and more cost-effective too. But right now, we do provide our customers those options. And then we provide our customers the desktop, the web, with LIMS, the mobile. And so we're trying to give our customers the options. As I kind of already mentioned, we're not very beautiful, but we're very strong, and we're working to merge strength and beauty. So where are we going? So as I mentioned, options. Desktop is very, very important for us. So we really appreciate the desktop team. We know sometimes it's not as fun to work on other people's code, on code that was built many years ago, but it's very, very, very valuable. It's the most important thing to us today because that's what most of our customers use. And the LIMS is, becoming more and more important, as well as the mobile solutions as well. But we'll continue to enhance functionality. When I say enhance functionality, that means existing functionality. So we will probably build some new things, but usually we're taking a module that already exists. Like I know that we had personnel management and we had instrument calibrations, management and calibration. Those were two separate applications in VB6. I know you've ported that to .NET and you've merged them into one product, which is very valuable. So, we're going to continue to enhance the existing functionality. We're going to improve the user experience. And so we want your ideas. We probably won't go too far in some cases because there's a lot we could do. But if you have really good ideas, we love when DSR, comes to us with ideas of ways to make the product better. And many times we do them. Sometimes we say, it's not worth it yet at this point to do that. But we love the fact that you're a partner, that you question, that you offer ideas, and so forth. So really, if you see things that you would like to improve, raise your hand, make it known, let us know, because we really value, you're very smart people, very capable people, and we really love your ideas. And then we want to reduce technical debt. As you know, there's some technical debt, things where, database relationships not maybe done the right way or the most efficient way, whatever we can do to reduce the tech that we have in the old product. And with enterprise LIMS, fully web-based, user experience, mobile, have specific functions there as well. And I'll show you more about that. And then we're doing more hosted solutions for our global customers. So this is kind of what we have today. Okay, this is not to scale, but we have a lot on the desktop side, and we're growing enterprise LIMS. And the mobile solution is just our first application. We have that. So you're going to see some different colors come up. Each color represents a year as an example. It's not precise, just as an example. So this year in green, we're going to have, we already had kind of our big desktop release back in May, early June. And then we have enterprise LIMS releases every 3 to 4 months. All right. And then we had our first mobile release. Next year, we'll probably do a little bit less on the desktop and more on enterprise. Okay, so the box is getting smaller on the desktop and wider on the enterprise LIMS. And then over time, we'll probably, again, invest more and more on and this is not that we're going to we're not going to reduce the investment on the desktop, but in comparison to the enterprise, it will be smaller. But we always will invest in desktop. It's very, very important for us. And then over time, we'll just continue to invest more and more and build, the enterprise LIMS team bigger. Some of the desktop resources may start doing some work on the enterprise LIMS as well, just as we reduce or as we increase the investment on the enterprise LIMS. And the mobile solution will be smaller items done over time as well. But our goal is to invest in all products every year. So desktop, eLIMS, mobile is investment for us every single year, and all three are very, very important. So with the desktop, many of you are working on the 2020 Q1. It's kind of our start. We don't have the estimates yet, but just we're hoping for Q1. Compliance. You guys are working on personnel training and instrument calibration management and other things. So this is compliance is a big thing for our customers, and you're all working very, very well on those items today. Beyond, we have process scheduler redesign because it's built in Visual Basic, and there's a lot we can do to improve that. There's some results entry redesign and improvements there. Some workflow engine kind of designer work that we want to do. Just workload management, being able to better assign workload and know who's working on what. This whole concept of projects is an important thing. So we want to introduce, I guess it's already been introduced, but we want to expand this thing called projects, where you can have a project and have many different individuals assigned to a product, or in samples and tests and things assigned to a project. And this kind of gets us into more of the research and development, but it's important for us to grow. Messaging, notifications is important. Some of the customer relationship management, or CRM, needs to be drastically improved to meet our customer demands. Some document management and collaboration features. And then we have vertical market solutions. Today we have basically one product that services all of our customers, and we want to, we want to improve that, so we have more specific solutions for the different industries that we service. eLIMS, today, we have, the focus has been on the end user. We have the collection that's starting up. We have the collection via the mobile solution. Login is starting up now, and Oksana and Sergey are working on that with Luis for the design. We already have the results entry, etc. So some of those things. The next focus will be the admin functions. So as the desktop people know, there's a lot of admin functions that allows you to create templates and other things that you can set and create reports and so forth. That eventually will be ported over to eLIMS as well. But right now our focus with eLIMS is on the end user experience. So first focus is number one is end user. The next focus in the future will be the admin functions. As I mentioned, available now, we have dashboards, we have the Explorer, results entry, replicate management. It's all very important and good things for us. So what's next for eLIMS? Results entry with calculations. I know that's something you've been working on, and I think it's in testing now. Very important. Sample login.
We lost your audio, Lane.
Yeah.
Yearly, it allows them to create these samples, and then there's a lot of other tools that allow them to do that. Data viewer, as I mentioned, we've already partially done this because via the Explorer. Certificate of analysis, inventory management, quality assurance and quality control, e-worksheets, customer portal. This is important because a lot of our customers have customers that they want to access certain data within the LIMS system. And so we want to create an external customer experience that they can come in and they can place an order. They can look at their previous status of their samples that they've submitted and sent. So that's important as well. So there's a lot of work on reporting, on all the admin functions. I mean, we could spend probably a year or two just on the admin functions. This thing at the very bottom is called ELN, an electronic laboratory notebook. this is a request that we get from some of our customers. It's kind of more for the R&D, research and development side of the lab. But it's a notebook that allows us to track notes and documents and other things that will be someday building. It's lower on the priority, but important. So that's kind of where we're going. So, I've talked a lot, and maybe there are some questions. Maybe Luis, you want to add some things as well? Feel free to ask any questions or make any comments. Luis, do you have anything to add first?
I don't think so. I work with these guys every day, so.
Are there any questions or comments from DSR?
Okay. Thank you very much for the presentation. It was very interesting. I'm not sure that personally I have any questions right now, guys. Do you have any questions to Lane?
It's okay if you don't. Don't feel like you have to. It's totally fine.
I can see that someone have some questions, but anyway, now we know exactly the roadmap for the next several years. I think it's very important for us to understand where we are going. So I think if we will have some questions inside the team, we will definitely email you and ask them via emails if you don't mind.
Yes, that's great. And like I said, we consider you all part of our company. And we want you to feel that way. We want you to take pride in Labworks. We take pride in DSR. And, as you can see, there's a lot of work to do. We have big plans for the future. You're very important in those plans. And so, we're really grateful for the work that you've done and the work that you're doing. And we see working with you for many, many years. So hopefully you enjoy the work. If you have ideas and questions, feel free to speak up. We want this to be very collaborative, and we want you to feel very comfortable with us and with the product and with the direction. And we want you to feel like you have, we want you to understand where we're going. And, again, like I said, if you have great ideas, we want to hear them. So again, thank you very, very much. We really appreciate it. And, we'll do this again sometime soon, at least a couple times a year, just to share with you what we're doing and where we're going and why, and some of the successes. We're having a lot of success as a company, and a lot of that is done because of you all. So we really appreciate your efforts. So thank you.
Thank you, Tulane, for such good words. So we don't have any questions. So maybe we can finish the meeting to don't spend your time more.
Okay. Thank you again, Sergey. Thank you, team. We appreciate it. You have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Not the video soon.
Oh, thank you, Luis.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.